Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I'm your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern who's ready to watch it all burn down in like 6 months. Codename Legion Cub.
So we both have, a couple of us have different lighting situations. Noel, your halo is gone. Presumably because you're wearing a bunch of Cobra gear.
Yes.
And I spent all day yesterday putting up new lighting down here to the point where I'm sore from just doing this for like 6 hours. But that's all going away now because we're here to talk about G.I. Joe, and we've got so much to talk about. Follow us on at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. And also, wherever you listen to your podcasts, make sure you're following us there. Leave us a review. This is a thing I mentioned twice in the past, like 4 years. Leave us a review because that's important. But follow us. Give us a follow, whether it's on Spotify or iTunes, which, by the way, another thing that I didn't realize until last week, I guess we weren't on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is.
We're Android people.
I mean, we are, but we need to be there for everyone.
Yes.
Wherever there's podcasts, Audible Interlude is there. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. I thought Anchor just automatically spewed us into the Apple stream. And apparently that's not how it works, but we should be there now. If anybody listens on Apple, let us know if that's all working out all right. And again, follow us. And also check out audiblearmy.com. That is where you can get all kinds of exclusive stuff. Last week was ridiculous. All 4 Super 7 Ultimates reviews, Wave 3 went up early there. I did a review of the Lunchbox. Lots of extras. You get exclusive access to video versions of where Wotaj has got it. We're battle android trooper people. Tony Hoover, glad you can finally watch live. We're glad as well. Tony Hoover, welcome. So audiblearmy.com is the place to be. You get exclusive video versions of our audio episodes, all kinds of extras, and you get early access to Audible Interlude merch, including, I'm opening these up for the first time here. Look, these things are so annoying. Bubble wrap is so much more fun than those air pocket things that are probably full of like foreign diseases. All right. So here we go. They're here. The new Audible Interlude hats. Fresh from the printer. Let's take a look at that. Oh, I should zoom in on me, just as a general rule. But look at that awesome, man, these look really good. That awesome dynamic logo by our pal Slickalicious. Everybody check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. This is the new high quality, better than the old one. I've got the old one right here. Look at that. The logo's a little bigger. It stands out more. It's more exciting. Oops, I put the wrong one away. Okay. So yeah, that's it. The new Audible Interlude hat. These will be available Thursday at noon on audiblearmy.com, only to paid Audible Army recruits. And then they will go up for sale if there are any left, they'll go up for sale to the general public on Friday. So check out audiblearmy.com. Sign up now. Yeah, the Craig Dukas. Those hats turned out amazing. Yes, they did. They look so good. This company that I've got for these hats, I wish they could make everything. I wish they could make tactical shovels, because let me just tell you, this tactical shovel, they're going to happen, but they're a nightmare.
And for our listeners that are catching the audio version of this, the red, white, and blue colors are way more saturated. Not that the other one wasn't colorful, but when you held them up side by side,
Yeah.
the new hats, I mean, that color just pops.
Although, to be fair, the old hat has been like out in the sun a lot, but I don't remember
Okay.
what it looked like when I first got it. But the new hats are beautiful. They will be available again on February 8th at noon at audiblearmy.com. All right, what else have we got here? So yeah, that's all the benefits. Whoa, that's not the image we want. There we go. I don't know what that was. All the benefits of being a member of audiblearmy.com right here. And in addition to that, I like to do some giveaways. Now, the last giveaways are going to go out this Thursday. What happened is some of the stuff that I ordered got sent via UPS and then transferred to the post office and then sat there for a week. But everything is here now. So Thursday, our original 5 winners of the Tactical Shovel shirt, all of your stuff is going to go out. And we have a new giveaway. So this is, you have to be a member of audiblearmy.com, a paid recruit at 5 p.m. on February the 12th. As long as you are a paid member at that point, you will be entered into a drawing to win most of my defective dock. So this is this Big Bad Toy Store sent me a replacement. This is the Super 7 Ultimates dock. He has some, I'm not going to get too deep into it right now. If you watch my review from today, you'll see he's got some red on his wrist over here. He's got some stress marks in his armpits, and one of the heads has a little bit of paint gone from the back. Otherwise, the figure is great, and for free for a giveaway, not too shabby. I will also point out that I took out the Sunbow rifle because I'm going to keep all of those that I can. So you get most of a Super 7 dock, and all you got to do is be a member of audiblearmy.com at 5 p.m. on February the 12th. So there you go. I'll be just mailing that right out to you. What else have we got going on? You guys, we've gone through so much already.
Yeah.
We're here on we're here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, where you can find reviews for things like that Ultimate Dock. That's another thing that was on audiblearmy.com. I did my follow-up review for my replacement dock. So you can check that out on there. I also reviewed, look at this fellow, the Wolf Trooper / Skeletron from Skeletron. This is a gorgeous O-ring action figure designed by the fine folks at Grindstone Toys and provided to us as part of the RoboSkull Mark II funding program. Oh, and you know what? I think I saved a picture that I might have forgotten to put on here. Hang on, let me look at my slideshow really quick. But the review of that guy is up now. Where is it? Nope. Oh, I'm going to be so mad at myself if I forgot to put that picture in here. Yeah, I think I did. Well, anyway, the Skeletron figures will be available. I believe it's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Let me verify that. I did a little repost. So that includes the 4-inch modern articulation Wolf Trooper, the 4-inch modern articulation Gyre Wolf, and the 3.75-inch Wolf Trooper / Skeletron will all be available from Skeletron.com. Oh, come on, Skeletron. You didn't post your own thing? There it is. Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow. All of those will be in stock, and I will be ordering at least 2 more of that O-ring figure because it is incredible. Now, did either one of you guys get in on that one?
No, I chose the Sky Striker at the time.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if you'd gone back and ordered any of the figures that accompanied the Robo Skull.
Oh no, I thought. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they had the
I'm
backer kit.
glitching out here because I'm like, wait a minute, that makes sense. But I was thinking like, oh, in order to buy them, you would have had to have backed it. But
Yeah, they had the backer kit
at-
open for a while. I think it was like Call Sign Longbow and Operation Recall where you could go in and just order, but I could be wrong. But regardless, tomorrow at 6 p.m., all those figures will be available. And the 6-inch figures are on the way, not like on the way to us, but on the way to them, to then be on the way to us, and the Robo Skull Mark II as well. We have shirts available. Go to Audible Interlude Podcast. Check out our pinned stories. Our next live stream is going to be February 12th, 19th. February the 19th. I had to adjust that date. So we weren't originally doing a live stream today, but then we decided, well, we better keep an eye out on G.I. Joe Day, February the 1st, and see what happens. And plenty happened, which is why we're doing a live stream here right now. So we've shuffled our schedule up a little bit.
Well, who knows? They might drop another like bucket of news at us over the weekend, and we might have to like shift and do another live stream and postpone that again. Who knows?
I would be so sad if we just had to do live streams every week and not do any more segments episodes. But at the same time, it would be awesome because that would just be indication of a golden age of G.I. Joe. So yeah, February 19th is the next one we're planning to do, but who knows what's going to happen between now and then. You can also check out our review. Here we go.
building the tension
Of Duke number 2. The exclusive video version is at audiblearmy.com, and you can check out the audio version wherever you get your podcasts. And finally, before we get into the news, which we've got a ton of it, the Dude 013. I'm now part of the Audible Army. Yo, the Dude. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yorktown Joe, I'm tempted to reorder Skeletron and see which package gets to me first. Uh-oh. Yeah, I know some of them have been held up, but that's okay.
Well, are they
They're
doing
all
the
gonna
thing
make
like
it.
Hasbro Pulse does now? Because I noticed the default for Hasbro Pulse shipping is FedEx delivers to your local USPS,
Oh, I hate
and
that.
then it's up to them to get it to your house. That just sounds like a disaster. So
Yeah, that's been more common, and I hate it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I recently listed my preferred shipping services and put DHL at the very bottom of the list, but I do have to adjust that because anybody delivering to USPS to then deliver to me is the bottom of the list.
Is DHL like at the top of anybody's list? Even if they
No, I don't think so. No. So it's got to be a money thing. So whoever is making the money from using DHL, it's at the top of their list.
Well, one time they were the only ones that would deliver on Sundays, but I mean everybody else, including the U.S. Postal Service, will actually do Sunday deliveries now.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Things are hopping off tonight.
Well, I do want to say to the couple of folks, especially, where did it go?
I know it's moving
Tony
too
Hoover.
fast.
Thank you guys for the kind remarks on our Duke 2 review, and be on the lookout for our Cobra Commander number 2 review.
Yeah,
when
Cobra
that
Commander
finally
2.
comes out.
When is that coming out? Kristian, can you do a little tippy-tappy typing? Sergeant 3572, proud member of the Audible Army. Thank you so much for your service. All right, moving along. Oh, look, it's actual new. Oh, no, wait, we've got one more item. Check this out, guys. Audible Interlude will be recording a live episode at Toylanta the 23rd of March at 12:30 p.m. This is, I think it's fair to say this is the Southeast's premier toy convention.
Yeah.
It is
at least Georgia's, Georgia's premiere.
Well, when we say the Southeast, we mean Georgia and those other states. Look, I say that as somebody born in North Carolina. So at 12:30 p.m., March 23rd, we will be live at Toylanta doing one of our episodes that we do so well. Lots of audience interaction, lots of prizes, lots of fun. It is going to be awesome. If you can join us there, that is great. If you can't, the audio version will be available later on. But of course, you'll get it first and ad-free at audiblearmy.com. But we love Toylanta. It's a massive show run by awesome people. We have a great time every time we're there, and I'm just excited because I actually get weekends off now, and I can do stuff like this all the time.
So, little update.
Yes.
Cobra Commander #2 should be hitting comic shops on February 21st.
Okay, cool. So we got a couple weeks break before we try to figure out when we're going to schedule another comic review bonus episode. Will R., I'm a Pulse Premium member also, and I don't know what I clicked, but DHL is bringing my mole rats. Ooh, you must have made somebody at Hasbro mad. All right. So on before, it was on January 31st, Big Bad Toy Store put up some pre-orders that I don't think they were supposed to put up.
Oops.
If you were eagle-eyed and staying on top of things, then you caught 4 Super 7 G.I. Joe O-rings that went up for pre-order. It was Cobra Commander, a Sunbow version, and there were no pictures of these. These were just the listings. Snake Eyes, a comic version. Bat, I believe it actually said blue comic version.
Yeah, it does say comic. Mm-hmm.
And then CoverGirl, blonde. So these 4 were up $19.99 each, which is, as far as I'm concerned, great.
And on Big Bad at that price, which normally inflates it by about 10%.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I ordered all 4. Noel ordered more than all 4.
I ordered all 4 and 4 bats total.
So we were very excited. And then apparently somebody told Big Bad they were not supposed to put those up, and they got taken down. Although my orders are still in.
Really?
The order did not get canceled.
Oh, wow.
My order's still in too. And so,
yes. I mean, I don't see any reason why they would cancel it. They just need to.
Because for those of us that were working and couldn't get to the site until those links were already gone, if I have to suffer, then I think all of you should suffer.
I was working.
That's the Cobra way.
I was working on getting new G.I. Joes. Yeah, Yorktown Joe. I ordered those O-rings sight unseen. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, how would you not just jump on that?
Because there was no photo attached.
We don't know what they're going to look like.
I mean,
and we got news out of that too, because we had heard we were getting a Duke and the Raymar, but the Bat and CoverGirl were news to us all.
Right.
Actually, it was the Bat and Cobra Commander. I think CoverGirl was one of the ones they already announced. But the Cobra Commander was new to us. So, I mean, that's exciting. So we at least now presumably know 6 of the O-ring characters are coming out.
And the estimated ship date for them was October. So that lines up with what we had seen before, but goes against what I had predicted they might show up sooner, just because I thought if they're already in Target's system, they might hit earlier, which granted, they might hit Target earlier, because a lot of times, like right now, for instance, the new Fright Features Real Ghostbusters are hitting Walmarts. Mm-hmm. Well, Big Bad has them up for pre-order. They come in April. So maybe July. And look, this is pure speculation. This is not any kind of real information whatsoever. I'm just talking about possibilities.
Just based on the last few years with Big Bad, I look at what Big Bad says the date will be, and I subtract 3 months.
Well, right.
If I pre-ordered it, because you guys will always get it before me as I wait for them.
Well, and it's always, you want to have your best case scenario and your realistic expectation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, other news, other exciting Super 7 news. Kristian, I think you might have to tell us about this next little bit here.
Should we change the Chiron at the bottom?
Oh, yeah, we should. Thank you.
There
Thank you so much.
we are.
It's hard to keep track of everything. Okay. What are we looking at here, guys?
So, this is wave 7 of the G.I. Joe reaction line. Again, their numbering just completely throws me off because of how many characters are in that in the reaction line for G.I. Joe. But anyway, so we have the Snow Serpent. We have oh gosh, I can't think of his name at the
Wreckage.
moment.
Red Jackal. No, that's
Red Jackal.
Sabretooth.
No. I was thinking that the Tiger Force guy.
It's
yeah,
Sabretooth.
Well, he was originally
Saber.
Wreckage.
Oh, really?
The original,
Did they lose
yeah,
that name?
probably.
And the Red Jackal. This made me so excited because when they did the Ultimates of the Baroness and Destro, I was thinking, convention exclusives. I get it. This is reaction.
Yeah.
So the potential for these to creep into the O-ring line at some point just has me so incredibly giddy. But I also highly recommend, if you're not familiar with Red Jackal, oh my gosh, go on his wiki page, because G.I. Joe over in the UK started out as Action Force. They were releasing the figures, and then at a certain point the cartoon came over, and they had to figure out, how do we make these characters match what we're seeing on TV? And that story, that canon is bat-ass crazy, and I love it. There's more twists, more traitors. Red Jackal starts out as a good guy, becomes a bad guy. That's a nano before. I mean, obviously this was in the 80s, but that's a biological mask.
So they
then
tried to explain why his face moved when he talked.
Yes. So he had, supervision and everything. And then when they had to make him Destro, they gave him surgery again to turn his head back into a normal human head and put a mask on him.
I need to go read this.
And
Kristian, I think Wotaj has a pretty good suggestion for you that you could adopt going forward. He suggests Guano Crazy.
Guano Crazy, yes. So yeah, I squeed when I saw that they were doing a Red Jackal, and
a vac metal Red Jackal. Like beautiful, which I mean, granted they did Cobra Commander before, but we haven't seen it since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now what is
Destro with vac metal?
What is the background of Wreckage / Sabretooth?
He was released in one of the Tiger Force sets. He was just a repaint of Firefly, but as a Joe.
Like one of the Toys R Us sets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about
we've
that,
looked
didn't
at
we?
him. Yeah.
Okay. So where did Sabretooth come from then? Or did somebody just make that up?
You would think that it was a trademark issue, but you would think Marvel would have that one locked down.
Right? You'd think Wreckage would be easier to get.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been Transformers named Wreckage in recent years.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Whatever. All three of these look great, and this is a Sunbow Snow Serpent, right? I think so.
But I love that all-white look.
Yes.
That's how they saved money on this wave to do the vac metal.
Okay, so apparently the Sabretooth was the original name that when they were going to release that figure in '88.
Oh,
Yeah, so
okay. So we
yeah.
still don't know for sure what the carded name of this figure will be.
True.
Because it hasn't. I haven't seen the inside of Toy Collector, which, by the way, this was broken on Geek Dad Life. Toy Collector gave him the exclusive to share this cover, but I don't know if anybody's seen the interior of the magazine yet. So I don't know if we have actually had these named. But regardless, they look awesome. I'm excited, and I can't wait to see what the rest of the wave is. Because even the Snow Serpent, just the all white Sunbow look is kind of a wacky choice, but these two are outstanding. We also supposedly, well, according to Entertainment Earth, there are going to be new Hasbro pre-orders on is it Leap Day? It's been so long since we had one. All I know is our good friend Oz turns 15.
Is it 15? Okay, I was trying to do the math.
He turns 15 on this.
He's going to be old enough to drive in 4 years.
Into the grave. I do.
So yes,
we need to buy him his first drink on his 21st birthday.
That's right. Well, he's a sailor, so he's been drinking for about 40 years now. So yeah, February 29th, we'll be checking in and seeing what goes up for pre-order. Maybe there'll be a live stream. Who knows? Should be exciting. Until then, we have Call Sign Longbow to keep us company. We've got a look here at the MTF Retro Op. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Sorry, I've got my notes that were separate from the picture. So we have the Ghost Sample notes and Paint Masters. This month, they returned their first round of notes on the Ghost Sample that we first saw at the end of November, which brings it closer to production. They sent the Paint Masters for the other figures to our partners at Spartan Toys. These will be used to create samples for the rest of the line. And then this is MTF Retro Ops. Our last two figures, the MTF Retro Op and Adapt Trooper, are working their way through the final sculpting phase. For these two figures, we opted to work with the same team that does all the sculpting on Marauder Task Force figures. It was important for us that this Marauder O-Ring be a true gun runner figure through and through. We'll continue to share more about these two figures in the months ahead. Please enjoy these in-progress sculpt images of the MTF Retro Ops figure. Looks great, looks crisp. After getting the Skeletron in hand that was also produced by Grindstone Toys, I cannot wait to get these Call Sign Longbow figures. I'm very, very excited. We've still got a little while to go, but things are looking good. We also have an update. It's funny how these updates always seem to come right around the same time. We've also got a Skeletron update. As I mentioned, all three of the figures you're looking at right now, the 4-inch Wolf Trooper, the 4-inch Gyre Wolf, and the 3.75-inch Wolf Trooper / Skeletron will be available Tuesday, February 6th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time at Skeletron.com. And we also get a little look at the packaging art for the 6-inch Skeletron figure. Kristian, what do you think of that?
It's gorgeous.
It looks like an Iron Maiden album cover.
It totally does, and it rules for that.
Because when your eyes first look like the actual Skeletron vehicle, you don't notice the wings on the side. So it totally, absolutely looks like some kind of hairband heavy metal 80s album. But I love it.
So this package art is by Alex Horley. We also get a look sculpted by Dave Proctor. Keen-eyed backers may notice that we've resculpted Skeletron's ferocious laser sword, which will now include 2 different energy blades for both at the ready and sword swinging effects. Skeletron will also come with an all-new sculpt for his ray gun, which now also includes a blast effect. Yes, a blast effect for 4-inch. Oh, so this is the 4-inch Skeletron. Lastly, we have added an energy disc that feeds additional power to this robotic tyrant. Our 6-inch Skeletron will also include all of this and perhaps a bit more. Ooh, that is Skeletron. All right. So all of this independent toy company stuff is looking incredible. I can't wait to get it all in hand. And then after that, I can't wait to see what else they're going to do. Next up, Noel. What is going on here?
Oh, we got some Deke action. The ladies of Deke. Yeah, this was the first, I think the little first bit of news we got on G.I. Joe Day on the 1st. This kind of just popped up in my feed, and I was like, well, those are some interesting colors. And I was like, are those the Deke colors? And then I started poking the pictures, and yeah, that Baroness with the Operation Dragonfire props is fantastic. Yeah, I'm really liking these.
All three of these, in my opinion, and look, I didn't know. I just knew. I didn't immediately recognize them as Deke. I just thought the colors looked amazing. I'm happy to be getting another Lady J that's going to be fully painted to match the rest of the line, even if her colors don't. It looks great. This is a more toyetic figure than the other one, regardless of the source material. The Scarlet looks great. The Baroness, look, sometimes you think, I don't really want Deke, but then you see the Deke and you're like, you know what? Just put it in my hand. I need it.
So true. Especially if that Deke comes with Cobra Commander in his serpent form.
Yes.
Which
that is worth the price alone.
That is wild that's happening. Well, it's wild that Deke, that Operation Dragonfire, that like this is just amazing.
And I wasn't able to find specific data from Super 7, but when these showed up on all the news sites, there was a comment saying that in one of the interviews, Brian Flynn said that in the Ultimates line, Baroness has been like their top 1 or 2 seller. So
that doesn't surprise me. I think Baroness is figure-wise, she's probably one of the top sellers in general, I would think, for any line.
It didn't necessarily surprise me, but it made sense as to, oh yeah, if you're going to do Dragonfire, Operation Dragonfire, throw her in.
Yes. Okay, real quick. Mandalorian Jedi, OMG. You're not kidding. These look great. Wreck Ship 85. What's up with that giant deer skull? I've never watched a second of Deke in my life. So you've got to, when you're dealing with Deke, you got to start at the beginning with Operation Dragonfire, which is
the
really,
high point of the Deke universe.
It is. It's a bridge between Sunbow and Deke, because it still feels like Sunbow. Now, I will admit, you watch the 5 episode. It's another 5 episoder. And we will review it at some point. You may not get much further than that. I'm not going to lie. But Operation Dragonfire, I mean, I certainly think that's worth watching. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
It's the best of the bunch, yeah.
They put money and they put effort into it, and you still had a bigger chunk of the original voice actors that did that miniseries for them and then skedaddled.
Yeah, because that's Lotta and Berghart and Lofting are all still there for it. I think it's the only time they really all are.
Well, here's how I can kind of fit Operation Dragonfire in. Is years ago, before I even knew there was a Deke cartoon. That's right, Mandalorian Jedi. Always start at the beginning of the Deke. Before I even knew there was another G.I. Joe cartoon, because I didn't have any memory of this. And by the time it started, I wasn't paying a ton of attention to G.I. Joe. I don't know. I just wasn't aware of it until 10 years ago, maybe something like that. And I got just Operation Dragonfire. It might have been an import. I was about to say the B word. It might have been an import, but whatever. I got just that miniseries, and I just thought it was a Sunbow thing I had missed somehow, or I didn't know.
I feel like the first time I ever watched it was at your apartment, like 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh, was it that long ago?
I think it was, because I remember the whole Scoop subplot being was the most memorable thing from it, but I remember like watching that at your place.
Okay, so it has been longer than that. And believe me, once you're creeping up on 50, time does a real number on you. But yeah, so 20 years ago, whatever, like did you know what it was at the time?
No, I just remember like, oh, there's more G.I. Joe that I didn't remember as a kid.
That's all it was, oh, cool, more G.I. Joe. So we watched it, and it is not so jarring as to be, oh, this is some other thing, which the rest of Deke is absolutely, that Deke will knock you out of your seat. But Operation Dragonfire is pretty fun. All right. Moving along. Well, there's so we've got Lady J with as many accessories as I feel like she needs. I'm not super worried. One thing that is worth noting about Super 7 is they are cutting costs in places where I'm 100% okay with them cutting costs. The newest wave of Joe Ultimates, you can actually take a look at it here. You can see it in my review, but I'll go ahead and if you can see the box, it's not metallic anymore. It's not embossed anymore. It's all just flat. It still looks incredible. If we had never seen the other boxes, this would still be mind-blowing graphically. But by the time that next wave comes out, they're not going to be producing the slipcover anymore either, which is a little disappointing, but also I ordered a Godzilla figure from oh man, it did that again. I ordered a Godzilla figure from Best Buy, and it came without the slipcover. So I think there are retail versions already that don't have those slipcovers.
Yeah, because the Ultimates in Walmart don't. And then I saw the Power Rangers Ultimates are now being offered in Walmart, and they did not have the slipcover. So the Godzilla slipcovers are as awful as the box for Eternia. Like, my cat could live in the slipcover for the Godzilla.
Oh yeah, well I couldn't believe how big that box was when it got here.
Yeah.
So there's Lady J looking great. Scarlet, I love these colors on Scarlet. That bright yellow, the purple, contrasting with the hair, just looks great. I don't know what this little accessory is with her though. I'm sure it's episode specific.
The little red thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a new rifle she's got. I think that was a new rifle that Lady J had as well. Let's see. Jeff Butler, Deke cartoons came on for me at 6:30 a.m. back then, so watching them bleary-eyed as a 12-year-old was as good as it was going to get compared to when I can watch Wide Awake at 44 years old now. Yeah, Deke is best taken in when you're a little bit asleep or under the influence of something. It looks. That's what I thought it was, a candy bar. Rekship85 says looks like a candy bar or cassette tape. I don't know. We'll find out at some point.
But now I need
it in the pre-order listing.
I need a sound wave that dispenses candy cassettes,
right?
Like Chocolate Ravage.
That'd be awesome. And then there is once again Baroness with her massive, crazy Malachi Black skull. She is now part of the House of Black.
If only she also came with an iguana serpentor.
What you know they're gonna do it.
They're going,
somebody's gonna come with that thing.
Probably.
Maybe they'll do Cobra Commander. Maybe they'll do the armored Cobra Commander for this wave.
Man. Can you? Well,
that
okay.
would make sense.
I was
It
gonna
would
say
have to be him or Nagahide.
I was going to say, can you imagine if Super 7 got Battle Armor Cobra Commander out first? But that's absolutely not going to happen. They may announce it first, but keep in mind when they announce it, because these
unless they decide to
supposedly-
do it as a reaction figure, then they might get it out
Well,
first.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because those seem to just pop out like when nobody's expecting them.
And these are supposedly winter of 2024. I will believe it when I see it. And if you order from Super 7, you get the G.I. Joe Super Pack with a bunch of repainted accessories. It's super neat, but I super don't need it. Next up, Kristian, what do we think about these?
All right. So these are the McFarlane page punchers. We finally have real, honest, authentic photos. They are 3-inch, 3.5-inch figures, 5 points of articulation.
6 points.
6. Oh,
Waist, neck, shoulders, hips.
Okay, I didn't realize the waist.
Why does Snake
I
Eyes
have
look
not-
so beefy?
McFarlane. It's 2 figures and a comic, and they
2
are...
comics.
Oh, is it 2 comics?
2 comics. That is what. So
Oh, look at that.
look, this drives me crazy. 3-inch scale. 3 inches is not a scale. Made of plastic, thank you, based on the G.I. Joe comic series, 6 points of articulation. That includes G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero 253 and G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 10.
And the response I've seen online has been really good. Now, on Hasbro Pulse, these are available for pre-order at $16.99. But I feel like the ones that I see on the shelves at the stores, I thought were like maybe 12.
Yeah, that price seemed a little high to me.
Well, the ones I've seen at the stores only have 1 figure when I've gone into Walmart and seen the page punchers.
Oh, true enough.
Oh, you're right, aren't you?
It is just 1 figure. Yep.
And they may only come with 1 comic. I haven't really paid that much attention to them.
Yeah, I haven't either. This is not, look, these to me, and this is what I felt about these page punchers from the beginning. This is a thing that somebody's like, oh, I think G.I. Joe's kind of neat. And they buy it and they just have it to have it. They don't really care that much about it.
Or they get it for their kid.
That's what I was thinking.
Or,
this is the impulse buy.
Right.
It's cheap enough that if your kid is crying because he wants a figure and he doesn't have enough money saved up, boom.
And then the other pack being offered comes with the crimsoniest Crimson Guard you've ever seen, and Cobra Commander.
I do really like the Cobra Commander. The Crimson Guard is a little bit of a Crimson letdown.
Yeah. I mean, I don't need to have these. I'm not going to pre-order them, but if I walked into Walmart and I saw that thing on the shelf, I would probably impulse buy it just to have that little 3-inch Cobra Commander figure.
Packaging looks neat. It comes with a base to stand the figures on, and this one comes with the G.I. Joe Real American Hero 2012 Annual and G.I. Joe Real American Hero 267. Interesting to note, I'm not positive they're correct about the Real American Hero number 10 because the rest of these are all IDW comics.
Yeah, I was curious about that because IDW did republish the Marvel run, didn't they?
They did.
So they may have the rights to be able to do that. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they've got the rights to all the Joe comics. I think those move along with whoever the current rights holder is. But that G.I. Joe Real American Hero number 10 just seems out of place amongst the other 3 comics here.
Well, 10 was before Duke was introduced. And I'm trying to remember what was in 10 if Snake Eyes had a
I just pulled it up. It's Snake Eyes and Scarlet in Springfield.
But is it Snake Eyes' 85 look or it's his 82 look?
It's his 82 look. I think.
Yeah.
They've never cared that much about matching these kinds of things up.
we know Hasbro doesn't, especially not for their Walmart exclusives.
Sometimes the package art doesn't even match the figure inside. Matter of fact, oftentimes if you remember the early 2000s, that's not always important to them. All right, it's time to
But
get it on.
if it gets kids into the comics, then I can't wait for them to be like, oh, look, a Cobra Commander comic.
That's right. Here it is. Craig Dukas making the point. Obviously, gateway gifts, and they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's to introduce people to G.I. Joe. Here we go, fellas. Doc. This is classified render reveals. We got a few of them on February the 1st on G.I. Joe Day. And Doc kicked everything off. And I was so amused because the term snowflake gets thrown around a lot in our society. And nothing is snowflakier than being offended by a figure being related to an actual national event. I'm just baffled by people being angry about a black character being introduced during Black History Month. I don't get it. If you have time to worry about that, you need to fill your life with something more. All right. Anyway, sorry. Let me step down off of my little soapbox here. Doc looks great. I will say I'm not against the vest, which I believe is the same one that's on the Action Soldier. But I do hope it comes off and that underneath we've got, the nice red. Well, wait. Can they use the Red Cross? I don't think they can they?
I don't believe so.
That
But
might be why it's
Mark of the
white.
International Red Cross.
Some kind of nice tampos on the chest to keep it from just being a beige shirt.
Yeah, the vest, it looks good. It makes perfect sense. And I do have a feeling, just based off of 2 of the extra accessories we see on him, that probably all of the first aid stuff will hopefully be able to be stored in it.
Well,
But yeah,
here's
a little
where
bulky.
there was some, not debate, but something that needed to be clarified. It said comes with 11 accessories, and a lot of people thought medical bag with 11 accessories, but it's not. It's 11 total accessories. So there are 2 things that we don't know yet, and there are 3 things that are not pictured here. Well, I guess that 5 total things not pictured here.
Yeah, because it says alternative gloved hands in the listing, but
right.
They're not shown here at all, and we know they're probably not in the medical bag. That'd be weird.
Well, maybe they're not his hands.
They're his gloves. They're not his hands.
It's a war, gentlemen, and war is not nice.
I like that. Will R says crucifix under the vest. That would actually be really cool. I don't think Hasbro would do it, but it would be cool.
Jeff Butler, the orange pill canisters on the side of his helmet are a great detail.
Yes.
I agree with you. I thought that they were little shot glasses, and it was just missing the straw.
He's like a Saint Bernard.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, somebody mentioned it would be great if they did Lifeline with a Saint Bernard with like the big barrel.
Oh, yes.
I would love that. So yeah, his helmet looks great. The pill bottles are awesome. I did not realize that's a taser that he comes with.
Does it say taser? Because I know there was some debate about that.
I mean, now that it has been said, it looks like a taser.
Because some people were also speculating it could be like a needleless shot injector.
Yeah, I don't think they would make it look like that though.
I wouldn't think so either.
We all know what that looks like, and I think Hasbro would make it look like that.
Yeah, and then the flare gun. I know Kristian had mentioned, it doesn't come with a mortar, but the flare gun is essentially serving the purpose of the mortar. Where it's not a weapon; it's just something he's using to alert his presence.
Well, I mean, the mortar, even the original mortar, was like a flare.
Device.
It wasn't actually a mortar. So this makes a lot more sense. It's more compact. Looks like everything is going to store on him, which is great. He's awesome. He looks great. A lot of people were complaining about the sleeves, but I have to say a medic, I think, is less likely to have forearm sleeves, more likely to have them rolled up to the bicep. And this makes more right. You're digging into the entrails and cutting people's hands off, apparently.
That's right.
Kristian.
Storing them in your bag.
Let's see. Ruckchip 85. I hope those bands on the stretcher are elastic. Yeah, I was wondering that myself. Because I can't imagine those bands aren't functional and you just lay your figure on top of them, but they also don't look like they're functional. So I don't know.
They look like they're just sculpted.
Right. So I don't know. We'll see. If those are not functional, your figures are just going to be falling all over the place. It's going to be like a Zucker Brothers movie. Okay, so Doc looks awesome. Next up, Kristian, you had some thoughts.
I do. Okay, so the good news is we are completing the original trio of Dreadnoks, and they have knocked it out of the park with every single one.
I see what you did there.
And
knocked it out of the park.
I had such high hopes for Torch. I'm just not. I was let down by this one. Buzzer and Ripper have so much personality in their
I can't believe you like this less than Buzzer.
I don't know. Again, this is just the render. Maybe when we actually see him, I just feel like his face sculpt is severely lacking compared to the other two. I love
like Lemmy.
I love the flame accessories. I love that he has.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So Wotaj says it looks like Lemmy, and if you zoom in on that face, there's even a mole on the left side.
Well, it looks like he's got one. Yeah.
And I love that he has a backpack. The boots.
The Mindbender boots are bad. I'm not on board with those at all. And I will actually be looking to see if those can be replaced. I dislike them that much.
Yeah. I mean, he is wearing a leather vest, so maybe him and Mindbender share clothes at some point. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But yeah, those aren't Dreadnok boots.
If you notice, the Knox rule on his backpack is spelled wrong.
Well, yeah, but if it's him, it's not like the Dreadnoks are known for their literacy skills.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, the C kind of threw me off.
Yeah, I don't. Well, and the copy in this spelled it correctly, so it was even weirder. I'll probably take those holsters off his thighs. I don't love those.
That's the other thing. So, not to get nitpicky.
Well, sometimes we do need to pick nits around here.
But, the 25th anniversary version, the original version, he has one thigh holster and a gun and then a knife. With as much as the classified team loves giving characters knives as accessories.
Right.
Why did we get another bulky thigh holster and gun?
So did you notice the skull with the flaming eyes on the front of his flamethrower?
Oh, is that what that is?
That little silver piece is like a horned skull. The jaw goes around the nozzle, and it has flames coming out of the eyes. It's crazy. Okay. I love that.
That's cool.
The flame effects look fantastic, especially the flame stream.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I love this figure. The things that I don't like are relatively easily fixed. So I am happy, and I think the portrait looks great. And Noel, it seems that you might be correct that these sunglasses are not removable.
Yeah. Well, and the other renders, didn't they have their sunglasses off to the side, or were they actually on their person?
I can't remember now.
Off to the side.
Someone was saying, I think Kevin Riddle was saying earlier, he hopes Doc's glasses are also not removable.
Yeah.
And I also hope the same, because
Yeah.
I'm just keep them on the faces for those characters.
Well, and that's the Super 7 dock. All 3 portraits, the glasses are attached, but they're translucent. They look fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There's really no reason for glasses to be removable. Will R was harsh. Oh no, Will R, what's wrong with you, Junkyard Skull?
Oh,
That's terrible.
I'm still traumatized by that issue of the comic where we thought that Junkyard was killed off by the Dreadnoks.
Yeah, that's right.
Will R,
Well,
appreciate your gallows humor.
Didn't Buzzer like take his chainsaw
Yeah.
to him?
Yeah.
I mean, that was excessive. Wreckship 85, I really hope the flame effects are sturdy and not limp, soft plastic. So far, all the stuff like that we've gotten has been pretty solid. So hopefully these will follow suit.
And if they are, just show them a few Deke episodes and it'll perk right up.
That's right. Rachel Salinas, so many knocks on the horizon, yet where are the motorcycles? I'll be honest, I think motorcycles are kind of a tough proposition for Classified because...
Well, they've already done several of them.
Well, right. But the problem is the Dreadnok motorcycles, what do? Do they do the big trike? Do they do the thing that they did for the 25th? Because it has to be something uniquely G.I. Joe. But the coil didn't exactly get the most positive reception in the world.
Yeah. Well, and they wouldn't ride crotch rockets anyway. They would make cruisers or...
So what do you just make regular motorcycles? I know the vocal minority that we are says, yes, I would buy 10 of them. But let's also look at all of the G.I. Joe vehicles that have sat on clearance in Target. I don't know how well just a Harley-looking motorcycle is going to do.
If they could find a way to update the Dreadnok trike, I would be for it.
I mean, there's tons.
That was a god-awful looking
There's
vehicle.
Tons of great-looking 1/12 scale motorcycles, like both model kits and just toys that are very affordable on Amazon and eBay.
But the problem is 1/12 scale doesn't match up with Classified. It's too small.
White, right?
Here you go. This is what I'm talking about. Wotaj ATVs like they had on the space station. Like what was it? Mark II Designs, I think, did those that we featured a while ago. That would be great. Yeah,
well, we're gonna get ferrets soon, and they could ride the ferrets as well.
Yeah.
Kevin Riddle, the Punisher figure with the bike is awesome. I've got my Zartan on one of the on the Punisher motorcycle, and then I bought the Wolverine, the blue motorcycle, and I've got Zorana on that. All right, moving right along. Noel, you want to take a crack at these wacky things?
So we get some more Tiger Force in our lives.
Yeah,
we got our tripwire and our heavy machine gunner roadblock, and the height difference is just jarring in this picture because I don't remember those figures being that different on my shelf. But I love the fact that they've given the tiger shark face on Tripwire's little on his little drone.
So unnecessary, but so awesome.
Yeah, but like we're finally getting Roadblock's correct accessories.
Yes.
How many Roadblocks have we gotten? Is this the 6th one in the line total? Because we got a couple different versions of the original Classified figure. We got the Target Cobra Island one. I guess this is the 5th one.
Yeah, this will be 5th.
Yeah, but we're finally getting the machine gun with the backpack where he can store the
and the backpack says Chef.
Yes.
And the machine gun says Tiger Force. I love this. And it's a 2-pack, which is also bizarre.
Yeah, and it's 2-pack and I mean it's 2-pack that includes the accessories that were in a deluxe figure before, minus the rat.
That's where all the cost was.
Yeah. Well, it's a pet figure, so that's the pet.
Mhm.
So
Well,
we're
and
probably
he
looking
doesn't
at
come with all the extra armor pieces either.
no, not all of them. No, but he does have a few of the extra.
He does have
accessories.
a few. Yeah,
This is probably a $59.99 set. You think
probably.
with a 2?
Yeah, that's probably right. Maybe $54.99, depending. But we also don't know if it's exclusive or if it's just a 2-pack.
Yeah. Well, the Target's been where all the Tiger Force has been exclusive to thus far.
Right. But we don't know yet because think about the retros were exclusive to Walmart until they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, but and this, of course, now that we have this roadblock, this makes me believe that we're probably going to get a retro carded roadblock with these accessories.
Oh yeah, the 6th or 7th or whatever roadblock will be
Yes.
right around the corner for sure.
And if we're getting a variant tripwire this soon, because that did stick out to me when I saw this. Dave, your dream for the Fun School tripwire
oh man,
is
or no, the Listen and Fun,
Listen and Fun.
Listen
yes.
and Fun tripwire,
Listen and Fun tripwire
right around the corner.
I think within a year or
San
two.
Diego Comic-Con exclusive, right
Put
there.
him on a retro card with a USB drive with the story. Let's go. If you notice, there's camo on Roblox's face. He comes with a swappable pistol grip for his machine gun. I'm in. I love this set. I'm all over it. I love this Tiger Force stuff. Which one of you guys wants to talk about the Night Creeper? Because I have very little experience with these fellows.
It's one of Noel's favorites, I thought.
I mean, I enjoy it. It's one of my favorite figures from Star Wars. I mean, no, what was it? Obi-Wan? What was the series where they were?
Was it Book of Boba Fett?
It was Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It all kind of blends together at this point. But yes, they were what were clearly inspired by Night Creepers in that show. But yeah, the Night Creepers, they're kind of like they were kind of like the Crimson Guard in their origins, where like they were all like they were like lawyers and accountants who were also ninjas who
Right.
kind of worked in this kind of secret organization. So I always kind of like their backstory, although this is a little bit after my time. But this is a really good looking update of the original figure. I do like the camouflage. I'm glad they kept all that kind of intact, and they have an alternate head, which is, of course, reminiscent of the Night Creeper V2, which is a wonderfully hideous 90s figure. But they managed to do a pretty good update of that head as a swappable alternate, which is interesting because it looks like, I guess, that whole cowl and everything is all part of the head sculpt that pops off.
Yeah.
Or maybe the cowl slides off and then, I don't know. But
it looks like there's a hood over the default head, kind of like how they did with Storm Shadow, and I think the Red Ninja had something like that.
So speaking of, did
Sure.
you guys read the Hasbro press release for this figure?
I did, and I cannot remember.
It's something to the effects of the first couple of lines are like, when Cobra needs extra help, here come the ninjas. I was like, in this line, we've already had quite a few ninjas.
Right.
Actually, at this point, I would think Cobra ninjas are not effective. You need to be bringing in somebody
ninja
else.
Troop builders already.
Yeah, I just love it. They were like, with all the new G.I. Joe recruits, Cobra hires mercenary ninjas. I'm just like, okay.
Wotaj's comment, the far right sword is a war crime. The characters from Book of Boba Fett had the same sword. But that's from the original figure. It had that same.
Well, and not only that, but that's a historic, like, barbed swords were a thing. Like, imagine what that does after it's been shoved into you. It's so disturbing. It's almost surprising Hasbro made it. So it is literally a war crime, although I'm not sure that was your intent with that comment. Yeah, this one looks awesome. I mean, purple camouflage, I'm down with that. Next up,
Yes.
for me, this is the star of the show.
Yes.
That portrait is incredible. The blindfold is great.
I wish it was in red, though. I don't know why they chose black, because it's always been red throughout all media.
Yeah, but I kind of like that it goes along with her other tied things. It looks like her wrist guards and the I kind of like that it's black. The masked portrait is great. I like the sleeveless look. Look, we're probably going to get a retro carded Jinx at some point. That's going to be a little more traditional. I think this one is a great update. I know some people probably don't like the tattoo. I like it. It's awesome. And she's got C grips and fists for punching.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that they gave now, yes, if they had done swappable ends for the staff, because they did directly reference the 1987 G.I. Joe movie with this. But if I had to choose, I would rather have this. I mean, this is the one that came with the original figure. It's wicked. It's another like super evil looking bladed weapon. This is awesome. The necklace.
Yeah.
Look at the necklace. The necklace looks great. Like everything about this figure. This is a striking figure.
Like this, she makes me want to get oh gosh, I can't think of his name now. The G.I. Joe ninja that they had just released that Noel and I skipped.
Nunchuck?
Nunchuck, thank
Kamakura?
you.
Oh, I
my
skipped
gosh.
I skipped Nunchuck also.
Oh, you did it as well?
I did.
Like now I want a Nunchuck just to get all of those accessories for her and sell the figure off because she is amazing looking.
Right. And I mean, this is a render. We know sometimes that they don't always look the same
True.
in hand. Obviously, CoverGirl was one that there was a bit of a discrepancy.
Out of
But
that
at least
wave,
worst case
CoverGirl is the
scenario-
one that you picked to point
I'm
out.
thinking of female characters. There are others that were worse.
They've already sculpted the bag covering her head just in case. So we have a way to display her.
Oh my gosh, how did I not think of making a little tiny paper bag to put over Falcon's head? Oh man.
Cut out 2 holes and a mouth.
Oh, it's the nameless soldier. Or the unknown
comic. Yeah.
Yeah. Although the unknown soldier is another thing entirely. I like this. Rachel Salinas says, when all your ninjas have become cannon fodder, subcontract more ninjas.
Yes.
Wreckship 85, I think they chose black because of the red mask head. That's a good point, actually, because if you put the blindfold over the masked head, then it will contrast.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was red, it would just blend in. And that's what Joe Hunter is asking. Will the blindfold be able to go on both heads? I would hope so. We'll find out. All right. Let's see here. All right, fellas. Naugahyde. Naugahyde comes with a warthog. The machete does have a wrist attachment. And according to the copy, his constant companions help him decimate the herds of all endangered species and cause general mayhem. Now, looking at this picture, if you look closely, you might see a macaque. I was very surprised at the inclusion of a macaque, but if you don't know, a macaque can be a whole lot of fun. It's the kind of thing that you just sort of slide in there and you say, oh, look, it's a macaque. I'm so delighted to see that.
It did kind of surprise me that they would choose that to come with Naugahyde because macaques are actually known to be very friendly and playful.
That's right. Absolutely. If you'll notice here, the macaque has an eye patch on.
So he's a one-eyed macaque.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Macaque is one-eyed.
Yes, absolutely.
All jokes aside, though.
What jokes? We're just stating facts here.
Well, as
I'm
Because
just
when I
talking
saw
about a
this, I was
macaque.
like, monkey with an eye patch. Why couldn't they have given Polly an eye patch instead of a peg leg?
I know.
Like, I see that as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay, yep. The bull ring for the boar makes sense. An eye patch, like, we needed more animals with eye patches.
Well, and let me say this: as much fun as you can have with a macaque, wouldn't it be funnier if that was a meerkat?
Yes, but it would make sense because they are lookout animals.
Right. So if that had been a meerkat and a warthog, they might have gotten sued. But that would have been great. So anyway, Naugahyde comes with a bunch of reused accessories, which I can't be. The figure, we haven't even talked about the figure. The figure looks incredible.
Yeah.
He's got the Crocodile Dundee hat, and I know that's not what you actually call that kind of hat, but if you're my age, that's a Crocodile Dundee hat.
He's got a knife.
He's got an. Although I got to say, neither of those knives are quite big enough to be a knife.
Well, the machete is his
knife.
That's
his knife. That's
yeah.
You're right. I
Although
love
the original figure, the pouch for his small knife is actually on the front of his boot, and it's incredibly inconvenient. But I kind of went, "Aw," but I now see where Torch's knife ended up as well.
Will R. Was there a macaque in the Deke cartoon? Grow up, Will R. Mandalorian Jedi says this is the best podcast ever. Wreckship 85. So many Deke jokes tonight. Well,
all
Rachel
you can do
Salinas
is
getting
make
us
fun
back
of
on
Deke.
topic by saying Naugahyde is the bomb. Naugahyde is the bomb. So much so that the reused accessories. Well, here's the thing with the reused accessories. They make sense for him.
Mm-hmm.
He's a poacher.
Yeah.
So the sniper rifle and the compound bow, like, they make sense.
But that's all. I mean, those are updated versions of what he came with. He came with a bow and arrows. He came with a sniper rifle. He came with, and I am so glad they included the wrist attachment.
Yes.
For the machete, because that just never made sense to me.
Oh, it's nuts.
But it's
totally nuts, but it's great. So this is something I got to point out because I was aware of it on him, but it jumped out into my face. And I'm not talking about a macaque. His left knee, a lot of these figures have the asymmetrical knee pad thing going on. And I don't like that I said a lot of these figures. Two of these figures
Roadblock and
have the asymmetrical knee pad thing going on, and I don't like that we're returning to that. Not a fan.
Well, I don't mind it with him. It looks a little weird on Roadblock, but I don't mind it on Naugahyde because, I kind of feel like he's cobbling together this to whatever helps him poach animals the best way.
So two knee pads wouldn't help him with that.
Well,
Look at his little pouches on the front of his pants.
Maybe it's more than just a knee pad. It could be, support.
Look,
because I'm sure he's been attacked.
Do you know how much knee pads hurt to wear? So, you want to keep as few as possible on, but I'm sure he's kneeling a lot on his left. So, that's where he wears his one knee pad.
Maybe the knee
That's the side the macaque hangs out on.
Well, that's what I was going to say is maybe the knee pad helps keep a macaque under control. Jeff Butler, how do you feel about Naugahyde having Road Pig's tattoo? I think it means Road Pig won't have it and will have something else. Interesting. I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out, but you're right. Yeah. That red anarchy sign that is traditionally Road Pigs.
Maybe they're Anarchy Brothers.
Oh, they could be. Maybe they're related
when they
now.
Joined the Dreadnoks, they were like, let's get a tattoo.
Wotaj asks, is that a stick of dynamite for the arrows? No, that is somebody told me what that is. It's on the Shadow Tracker figure as well. It's not a scope. It's like a balancer or something. I can't remember what they said. But yeah, it's an attachment for the bow.
I thought I saw his face and I thought it was a little bit reminiscent of Seamus. And now,
Will R, good to have knee pads when dealing with a macaque. Will R, I'm not going to tell you again to grow up.
And I was going to say, now we could have Road Pig come in as Brock Lesnar, but we can't incorporate Brock Lesnar into anything anymore.
No, sir. Moving on.
No.
Actually, that might
He still
be...
needs to be Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, even if it's Dolph Lundgren now, like, I'll take
Oh.
older Road Pig. That's fine. Let's go. Oh, we're not talking about that.
It's gonna, though, Lenny's gonna end up making Road Pig look exactly like him. We're gonna be like, what?
I'd be fine with that. That would be great. But then he'll get called out, just like the Toy Guru.
Toy Guru. No, people like Lenny.
Look, let me tell everybody right now. Here's a little inside baseball. Don't make Kristian mad. He will get you blacklisted from YouTube just like he did Toy Guru. Oh yeah, I had nothing to do with that. You have the power, my friend. I know it was you. All right. We got to move on. We're running out of show, so it is now time for Sound Off. This is the portion of the show where the Audible Army and the folks following us at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram get to contribute and request what we talk about right here on the show. If you're a member of audiblearmy.com, we will prioritize your sound offs before we get to everybody else's. So if we run out of time, sorry about your luck, but Audible Army members are up first. Let's see what we've got. First, from Tony Hoover. Welcome to the chat, pal. If you could choose one historical figure that you want to see in a figure, I'm glad to have found this podcast. We are glad you found us, Tony Hoover. One historical figure. So not like, we talk about like characters and celebrities and stuff all the time, but actual historical figures. So there was a G.I. Joe Teddy Roosevelt.
There was?
But I would like to see an O-ring Teddy Roosevelt or a classified. I'd take a classified with a horse and like tons of accessories and like Rough Rider, like just full on do it up, like cool figure deluxe set would be awesome to see, like it from a modern line.
Well, I was watching Gravity Falls as I was falling asleep last night, and they have the one episode with the president that everyone forgot. So when I saw this question, my mind decided I want this historical figure to be released in the G.I. Joe Extreme line, and it needs to be Attack Abraham Lincoln.
Well,
like his top hat has a spring-loaded like missile that shoots out of it.
Can I change my vote?
I was thinking along the lines of Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, as a GI Joe.
Yeah.
But I was like, that might be a little too on the nose. So I had my other backup, which is Florence Nightingale, because you can have another field medic out there.
That would be awesome. Did they do
in the 60s? They had GI Nurse, and
okay, I guess that's what I'm thinking of. I guess they didn't do her specifically.
Super expensive because she tends to fall apart. She's a brittle little thing.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Next up, Kevin Riddle. What accessory would you like to add to your favorite figure that should have been part of the offering? This could be your own headcanon as well. Who, what, and why? And since this was on audiblearmy.com, I asked him to specify, is he talking about classified or any Joe line? He said, whatever you want. So from any Joe line, what accessory should have come with your favorite figure? I'll throw this one out there. And look, I'm kind of taking the favorite part out of it because, I mean, if we're going all-time favorite G.I. Joe, the original Firefly probably stands as my favorite figure. But there's nothing else that could have come with that one unless he came with the G.I. Joe Christmas cart thing. I can't remember what it's called now. But I cannot believe we have 3 classified Zartans and no swamp skier.
Yeah.
That is mind-blowing. So that's we need a classified chameleon.
And
My favorite figure
Oh,
was
go
always
ahead.
Scrap Iron, so I kind of got what that figure always really needed in classified by having that upscaled like tank drone rocket launcher rather than just being a
Yeah.
static thing. So that's what I was thinking. I was like, I would have loved to have had that back in 1984 rather than just the one as it is. I love
Yeah.
that thing. It's iconic, but I mean, it's so much better now.
And my answer has not changed from the many times I have critiqued this. I cannot believe that Shipwreck did not come with a flight mode poly or open winged poly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And finally, from audiblearmy.com, Mandalorian Jedi checks in with, we all know that G.I. Joe is the world's most elite fighting team, but sometimes the grass or cash is greener on the other side of the fence. So which Joe do you think might be most susceptible to betraying his fellow Joes in a misguided quest for monetary gain or perhaps worldwide infamy?
So I based my decision not off of, he wouldn't be doing this for the money. And this is one that I've thought about quite a bit, actually, from stuff we've talked about in earlier episodes. But he would betray the Joes for, I'm not going to say love, maybe a little lust, but mainframe.
Okay.
Zorana, I think, eventually would be able to wear him down once he gets some.
Dave, you're not going to like my answer, but Kristian will.
That's okay, because Kristian's not going to like my answer.
Well, that one actually floated in my mind, but we all know all it took was America going to a war with Iraq for Sergeant Slaughter to switch sides.
You're not wrong.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I can't even argue that. It happened. It happened in sort of real life. Will R says, low light. He's got that killer instinct. He could cross over easy. Shane Brayla says, Dusty, that traitor. I know, right?
Mhm.
We saw that happen. But his mama was in the hospital. So mine is Shipwreck. Because when we meet Shipwreck, he's some kind of weird desert mercenary guy who basically just starts hanging out with the Joes for no good reason, sticks around for a little while because he likes the ladies. But if Cobra gave Shipwreck the opportunity for a little money, a little power, some babes, I think he'd be gone in a second.
Yeah,
he's hanging out in a Cobra bar.
Yeah, there's no power. He doesn't need the power. If Cobra gives him some money and some strange, he's coughing up all the secrets.
I can see Shipwreck as Tony Montana, basically. There's a story for you.
He is Latino, so, there you go.
That's right. Let's see.
Wreck Ship 85. Lieutenant Falcon, you can only be called ugly so many times before you snap.
Yeah.
And Batman's rogue gallery would agree with you.
That's true. And Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy's, yeah.
And Dick Tracy.
Fit right in.
Jeff Butler says Grand Slam due to lack of use in the comic after the first few years in Zero Sunbow. Maybe he wants attention and Cobra might give it to him. I'll give you a Grand Slam, Joes. Mandalorian Jedi, I think maybe the whole Eco Warrior team turns on the Joes to destroy the world's economies, but they're doing it for our own good. I like that. It fumbles, that bastards.
It was always fumbles.
Just like William Regal left AEW, Sergeant Slaughter joins Cobra to help his son Serpentor. Oh, this is great.
Or
Okay.
Storm Shadow, for that matter, since he's also got some in the comics continuity.
That's right. Rachel Salinas, say hello to my little friend. He's talking about Polly.
You
That's the
hope he's
worst.
talking about Polly.
He's talking about.
He's talking about his macaque.
Move on. Let's move on. Vintage Scoundrel says, I'd like to hear your thoughts on collector mentality regarding O-Ring. I've noticed that many collectors have zero problem dropping $25 for lines like Longbow, Strikeforce Alpha, etc., etc. Super 7 announces Joe O-Ring for a projected price of $20, and I see comments like, these should be $10. I don't get it. Is it just perceived value, wishful thinking, price points? Well, what it is blinkered pig ignorance and a complete lack of awareness of how the toy industry works. These people don't understand MOQs. They don't understand cost. They don't understand anything about the production of toys from a small independent business to a large company. So they're just dum-dums who don't know what they're talking about.
But they don't mind it from those independent companies. That is the part I agree with Vintage Scoundrel 100%. That makes no sense. I think it's the nostalgia glasses of them going, well, when I bought these from Hasbro years, ago, yeah, they were $5. So it's not even that they don't understand, or at least to me.
Well, they think Super 7 is a company that can be compared to Hasbro. And they think that Hasbro should still be making figures that are $2.99 or whatever G.I. Joes cost in 1983. Like, these people have no concept of reality whatsoever. Yeah, right. Mandalorian Jedi. But I paid $3.99 when I was a kid. Like, that's literally an argument.
And comic books were 60 cents at the time, too.
I see it all the time. In 2007, these figures were $8. Do you understand how long ago that was? And look, yes, inflation is horrible, and the cost of goods and services has far exceeded what it should have over the last 40 years. But that's a conversation we can't get into here. We're all being manipulated and destroyed, and there's nothing we can do about it except keep buying toys that cost too much. Silent Interlude. I got my O-Ring Wolf Trooper, and I think it's the closest third-party release to vintage 2000 era's O-Ring Joes that I've seen. I'm really impressed with both the quality and the details. Can't wait to see more from Grindstone Toys and Callsign Longbow. Still waiting for the tactical shovels to drop. Yeah, these third-party O-Rings are so much fun. They're awesome. They're great. I've still got my Strikeforce Alphas on my desk here because they're just fun. I'm sitting here playing with them all the time. They're great. Mandalorian Jedi. Personally, I blame the Eco Warriors. The tactical shovels, they are going to happen at some point, but my gosh, I cannot find the way to do them. I've got the shovels. I've just got to figure out how to get them printed. It's very difficult. Mountain Nut, maybe. When do we think the SMS set will come out?
I figured we'd get a pre-sale on the 1st, but that didn't happen.
I mean, I got to think at this point, it might just be an order on the 29th, which I can't remember them surprising us with an in-stock order. So I don't know that that's really going to happen, but we've known about it for so long.
And we've seen the in-package samples, so.
We have?
I think so.
I think we just saw a render.
I don't
think we know what the package looks like.
Okay. What am
I could be wrong. It's hard to keep up with everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's got to be produced at this point. I don't know.
Comic-Con was in July, so yeah.
I think at the latest, we'll get a pre-order on the 29th. Yeah, Wreckship 85, we talked about that last time. It's got to be pre-order on the 29th. AliExpress was doing pre-orders for... Well, AliExpress has been doing pre-orders for it since December. So I don't know what's going on. It is
just renders.
Yeah. All right. Sergeant Action. quick collection question. Who is your favorite Joe or Cobra, I guess, and how many variations of them do you have? My favorite Joe figure is the original Firefly, and I did not have an opportunity to count them, but I'll guess I've got a dozen Fireflies, maybe. That's probably right around there.
Do you keep them all in a jar with air
Yes,
holes?
it's got air holes in the top, and I'll go outside in the backyard sometimes and kind of hold it up and look at them.
Aw.
It's very sweet.
I mean, my favorite Joe character probably is Beachhead, which is interesting because that's also your avatar there. But I mean, I don't have anything but the original Beachhead and the classified Beachhead. So, unless you count the little 2-inch combat heroes that I've got right up here.
Oh, that counts.
Yeah, counts.
That totally counts.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite is Shipwreck, and off the top of my head, I think I have like maybe 5 variations on him, most of them from the 25th anniversary line.
And I know you've got a Funko Pop.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have 2.
Yorktown Joe, looking forward to my Wolf Trooper Skeletron figures. Did you know the Little Red? Yes, we talked about it. Thanks, Yorktown Joe. Everybody, including my Aunt Maud, explained that to me. But yes, it's awesome. Great stuff. Great job with the head swap in your review on YouTube. I was not expecting to sit there unscrewing an O-ring figure during my review. I didn't think that's how the head swap would work. So I'm glad I happened to have my utensils handy and ready to do it. Thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting. Bassist Carlos, what's missing when you look at G.I. Joe? What makes you ask yourself, why doesn't Joe or Cobra have a blank? For me, Joe needs a CB or construction battalion member, kind of like a Navy version of Tollbooth. My dad was a CB, so I've always wanted to see one on the Joe team. For Cobra, I've always wanted a Cobra version of the APC. Yes, they have a bat transport that holds around 9 figures, but the APC holds 20 plus. I always saw it as a missed opportunity, especially for army builders, to not have a large capacity troop transport. Kristian, I believe you have an answer to that.
I was going to say, it does hold more than 9 figures. Because I thought, the 20 figures that they advertise it being able to hold, they can't do, but not so much the inside of the vehicle, but this thing is covered in foot pegs. So
you can get like 10 figures just on the outside of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy how many that carries. I wish I had more time. I was super busy today. I did not have as much time to think about this as I wish I had.
So his question influenced my answer, at least for the Joes. I want to see like an underwater welder for the Joe team. I'm not being facetious. Like,
I
that's a very
never think you are
highly skilled role in especially the Navy.
Because I was thinking, well, gosh, underwater demolitions, like the Joes are you've got torpedo, wetsuit, like so many of them are just sort of what I would consider just regular frogmen types. So who goes down there to deal with the depth charges and mines that Cobra would put out there?
Deep six, because nobody's getting through that giant thing that he's
That's
wearing.
True.
Yeah. And you can blow things up right around him, and he's just like, I'm fine, look at me. I have no articulation, but it balances out because I'm impervious to pain.
They just swing him into everything explosive because they know it won't hurt. But for Cobras, I couldn't think of what's missing that wouldn't be me making some kind of comical
Right.
comment.
That's I don't look and see any the closest thing I see, and we've talked about it so many times on the show, it almost doesn't count. But as far as toys go, that Cobra transport copter, because all Cobra has, they've got the Fang, that's a one-person chopper, and the Fang 2, and then the Mamba, which is not a transport of any kind. You know, the Joes had the Tomahawk,
Mm-hmm.
but the Cobra doesn't really have any kind of air transport.
Yeah, the Aspid as a vehicle, they should have done a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it really, really is, and it's yes, it's in the cartoon and the comics, but in the toy line, it really is a big gaping missing thing.
Yeah, well, and I'm going back with this one, and I'm thinking about like what were the characters that I invented when I was a kid, because those were a lot of like the roles that I thought the Army needed at the time. But like I had a character that was a secret agent. He was kind of like a James Bond type guy, and then I also had a guy who was a mechanic. He was just the mechanic, like he was the head of the motor pool. So guys that were just dedicated to those roles rather than just be a vehicle driver who also happens to be a mechanic. And then for Cobra, what was reminding me of that was that like I had a big flying fortress that I created for Cobra that was similar to the things that we saw, like like the one that did not get made by Super 7,
the mothership.
Yeah, but it was along those lines, but it was kind of my own unique design and hastily drawn by an 11-year-old, so it probably didn't look great.
Yeah, there are a lot of cool things that could be done, but to be honest, both sides have. I mean, Cobra, Joe's eventually got a secret agent in Faces. Cobra eventually got a surgeon in Scalpel. Like they did fill a lot of the roles over time.
Yep.
And that brings us to the end of Sound Off. Have you guys got a little Joe and Tell?
I can pull something out, I'm sure.
This segment is Joe and Tell, where we each share a G.I. Joe item. It is sponsored by our pal Slickalicious. Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram and gijive.com. Slickalicious is an excellent partner who I need to get back to design some more stuff. He designed several of our t-shirts and is a great creative collaborator. Check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram. All right, I'm going to go first because this is kind of silly, but I'm very happy with it because it's something I've been waiting for a very long time. So my Joe and Tell, I flagged this item on Mercari or tagged it or whatever you do on Mercari like 2 years ago, and it was $5 plus shipping. And I didn't want to pay $5 plus shipping for it. I was kind of just waiting for it to get down to like $2, but it just sat there for like 2 years, not budging. Finally, Mercari sent me a coupon that said get a $5 item for free and pay the shipping. And so now I am at long last the proud owner of a Leatherneck soap dish in pristine condition. Look at the print on that. It is for the smallest bar of soap. It still has the Made in China sticker on the back.
Hotel soap will fit in there.
Hotel soap wouldn't even fit in this. It's so tiny. But you know what will fit in it? I can fit the extra parts from my Skeletron Wolf Trooper in there and store them safely, so no harm comes to them. So that is, I just love weird little licensed stuff like this. It just brings me joy to find little things like this. And the fact that it's Leatherneck of all people. Like, when
I think of Joe's and soap, Leatherneck's the first one that comes to mind.
They might as well have put Beachhead on it. Actually, that would have been funnier. So yeah, there you go.
Beachhead branded deodorant. There you go.
Yes.
Irony.
1986 Hasbro Leatherneck soap dish. Who's up next?
I'll go, so that way you can cheer everybody back up.
Oh gosh.
Well, mine is G.I. Joe adjacent, because we do sometimes on Audible Interlude love to discuss Transformers, and we love to discuss comics. And Jose Delbo, I'm not for sure that's how you correctly pronounce his last name, but he had a very long run on the Marvel Transformers comic in the 80s, early 90s. Anyway, he passed away. So it's kind of sad.
But absolutely worth noting, and all respect to another creative individual.
I'm not for sure. They didn't have G.I. Joe listed under any of his credits, but he was the artist on Wonder Woman from the when she got her powers back, the post Diana Peel Wonder Woman, all the way through almost to Crisis when Perez took over. He did Thundercats in the Star line. He did NFL Pro.
Oh, well, come on.
For the Joe Shooter universe. So he did a lot of stuff, but when I was looking at the Transformers, I was like, oh wow, a lot of his covers are the ones that when I was younger I had put in picture frames to hang in the walls. So
yeah, not every Transformers comic book cover was a keeper.
No.
Issue 5 was, for sure.
All right, Noel, you are up.
All right, so mine's it's more of a tell than a show, but it's a channel that is on YouTube, but he's also got his website, and I just was realizing he's only got 738 subscribers on YouTube, so I just wanted to kind of give him a little bit of a spotlight. Stories from the Toy Shelf is the name of the YouTube channel. It's also at storiesfromthetoyshelf.com is the blog, where it's basically just him going through his YouTube videos and stuff. But he's I believe he lives in the Philippines, but he talks a lot about like growing up and his stories of like collecting toys. He also talks a lot about more modern stuff now as well. And a lot of what he's does on his videos, his narration, are clearly things that he wrote out many years ago, like as part of a blog or a website, and now he's actually just putting them up on video with some images and stuff. But it's very entertaining. He's got he's got a lot of passion for it, and he talks a lot about G.I. Joe. He loves his original 13s. That's actually the video that first hooked me on him, was him talking about how the original 13s were kind of like an upgrade to the Green Army men that he used to play with as a kid, and he would get to pick those up when he traveled to the United States as a child. So storiesfromthetoyshelf.com if you get a chance to check that out.
It's fascinating. I've over the years had the opportunity to talk to non-American collectors a few times, and it's always really interesting to hear their experiences with American toys. It's just different. It's very, very different. There's different sentimentality. There's different even the level of pop culture exposure. It's just a whole different thing. And that is all the show we've got for tonight. Our music is by Andy Simford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast, on X at G.I. Joe Audible, and of course, check out audiblearmy.com. There is only one tier, $1.99 a month, gets you my show notes before each episode is released, early and ad-free access to all audio episodes, exclusive video access to recordings of audio episodes, early access to all G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe adjacent reviews on the Needless Things YouTube channel, the opportunity to vote on content for the show, early access to Audible Interlude merch, and oh, so much more. Kristian, where can we find that toy photography that you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Flickr.com under Legion Cub.
And Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club, and we raise money for a great organization called Canines for Warriors. And if you come to see us at Toylanta here in March, we will have our booth. Our Southern Command, our local Georgia garrison, will be there collecting money. So drop by, and if you ever thought about dressing up like your favorite Joe character, check out thefinestcc.com or the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook, and we'd be happy to help you out.
Everybody here in the chat that was hanging out with us, that's right, Rachel. Go hit that like button. Smash that like button. Follow, subscribe, do all the stuff, write reviews. Every little bit helps us.
5-star reviews on iTunes.
Yes, that is a huge deal, apparently. Everybody hanging out in the chat tonight, thank you so much for hanging out. We couldn't do it without you guys. We appreciate your support, whether you're just hanging out or telling people or part of audiblearmy.com. Noel and Kristian, talking to you guys is my favorite part of every single week. Until next time, yo, Joe.
I got the black lung.